Hey everyone, it's your boy Animeachiharex, and today we're diving into another epic What If. This time we're exploring what if Issei was the reincarnation of John Wick Part 3. The shadow that walks like a man. The night in Kuo was thick with tension. A fallen angel base, hidden in the outskirts of town, buzzed with nervous whispers. Every soldier there had heard the same rumor. He's not a devil, not an angel. He's the man the church calls when monsters hunt monsters. Inside a dimly lit chapel-turned-armory, Issei Hayudu cleaned his guns. One holy silver pistol and one custom black one. A mix of divine technology and pure human craftsmanship. The church called them salvation and judgment. They weren't sacred gears, but their bullets were engraved with prayers. A priest entered, cautious, clutching a file. Hayudu, there's a nest of fallen near the industrial district. You've been. Issei cut him off, loading a clip. I already know. His voice was cold, steady. They've been hunting strays again. The priest hesitated. You're not going in alone again, are you? Issei's faint smirk was answer enough. You know the rules. I work alone. The church doesn't like what I do, but they like results. He holstered his weapons and walked out, coat flaring behind him. The priest crossed himself quietly, not out of faith but out of fear. Hours later, gunfire echoed through the steel halls of the abandoned factory. Holy bullets tore through the air, each shot perfectly placed. Issei moved like smoke, silent, invisible, unstoppable. One fallen screamed as he fell, his wings dissolving into ash. When the last one hit the ground, one terrified survivor crawled backward, bleeding, gasping for air. What are you? Issei crouched down, eyes cold and empty. The man you send when prayers don't work. He stood up, turned his back and left the fallen alive, intentionally. That survivor would be the one to carry the message. By morning, the underworld buzzed with new rumors. They say he walks in daylight and shadows alike. They say he killed an entire nest with nothing but 2 guns. They say the Baba Yaga is real. Within the church, the higher-ups grew uneasy. He's not under our full control anymore, one bishop whispered. He's becoming something else. And within the fallen angel ranks, that one survivor, now trembling and scarred, warned everyone he met. He's not human. He's death in a man's skin. They call him the Baba Yaga. That night, Issei sat alone on a rooftop overlooking Kuo. The wind carried the distant sound of church bells. He quietly whispered to himself, they can call me what they want, as long as they remember why. A contract on the Baba Yaga. The rain hadn't stopped since that night. A cold, relentless drizzle washed over Kuo City, the kind of rain that carried whispers. And every whisper spoke of one name, the Baba Yaga. After the massacre in the underground, Issei Hayudu had vanished. No trace, no body, no message, only the echo of his words before the storm. If the church wants monsters dead, I'll start with the ones sitting in their pews. That line reached the Vatican like wildfire. The Vatican, 3:06 a.m. A candlelit war room deep beneath St. Peter's Basilica. The air was heavy with incense and tension. Dozens of bishops, exorcists, and cardinals gathered around an obsidian table engraved with holy sigils. A file hit the table with a sharp smack. Photographs spilled out. Burned wings, shattered halos, black bullet shells with glowing scripture etched into the casing. He's gone too far, said Cardinal Valtieri, his voice shaking with fury. He's executing targets beyond authorization. He's hunting our own. Another bishop spoke, tone lower, fearful. Issei Hayudu, the Baba Yaga. He's the church's ghost, the weapon we made to slay demons and devils alike. But now, his words trailed off. From the shadows, Father Matthias, the same man who oversaw Issei's training, stepped forward. His face was calm, his eyes cold and resolute. Then we no longer call him our sword, Matthias said. We call him what he's become, a liability. He placed a red seal document on the table. The wax bore the insignia of the Holy Seal. With a quiet, deliberate motion, he broke it. The parchment shimmered with divine gold before burning red. Excommunicado. By decree of the Holy See, operative Issei Hayudu is stripped of sanctum, rank, and divine protection. His name is to be erased from all church registries. His existence, severed from heaven's records. All branches are authorized to terminate on sight. A long silence filled the chamber. Then Matthias added one more line to the decree, one final temptation. Bounty. One sacred relic of heaven, forged by the hands of seraphim, to whoever delivers the Baba Yaga's head. A murmur swept through the room. Every exorcist, mercenary, and rogue hunter would feel the tremor of that announcement before dawn. Kuo City, safe house, outskirts. The sound of oil sliding into the chamber of a pistol broke the silence. Issei sat alone in a dimly lit room. His safe house, once a quiet refuge, was now a war bunker. Weapons lined the walls. Modified shotguns, twin pistols, tactical knives, and enough ammunition to start a private crusade. He wiped down his guns with steady hands. His face was calm, but his eyes told the story of a man who had seen too much and trusted too little. The radio beside him hissed, no static, no signal. The church's encrypted frequency, usually alive with coded chatter, was silent. That silence told him everything. Then his burner phone buzzed. No caller ID, just one line of text. Excommunicado. Effective immediately. He stared at it for a long moment, then chuckled. Guess it finally happened. He rose from his seat, calm and collected. Every move was efficient, precise. He began packing. 2 pistols, 3 extra magazines, 1 combat knife, and a relic coin, his last token of church sanction. He stared at it before tossing it aside. They built me to kill monsters. They just never expected I'd learn who the real ones are. Excommunicado. Countdown begins. At exactly midnight, every supernatural channel across the globe lit up. Encrypted signals, demonic whispers, angelic frequencies. Each message carried the same 2 words. Issei Hayudu, excommunicado. Within the first hour, hundreds of eyes turned toward Japan. Hunters, assassins, fallen agents, even devils looking for divine favors. All heard the same promise. Kill the Baba Yaga and claim a relic of heaven. The underworld went silent before erupting in chaos. The first wave. By 2 a.m., Issei felt them. He'd already relocated. An abandoned subway tunnel beneath Kuo City. Dark, cold, forgotten by the living. He'd turned it into a trap. Tripwires laced with holy thread. Grenades blessed by an exorcist he once killed. Motion sensors. Claymores. When the first group entered, 3 church assassins and 2 freelance mercenaries, they expected a wounded prey. Instead, they found a predator waiting. The first died instantly, a wire slicing across his throat. The second triggered a trip mine. Holy fire ignited the tunnel in blinding white. And in the midst of it all, Issei moved. Silent, efficient, unstoppable. A blade deflected. A gunshot echoed. One assassin tried to pray. Issei's bullet interrupted him mid-sentence. When the smoke cleared, the tunnel was silent again, except for the slow footsteps of the man walking through the bodies. He looked up at the cracked ceiling, letting the rain drip through the broken surface. Guess I'm officially on my own, he muttered. Fine by me. The rumors spread. By sunrise, word traveled. Every hunter who survived an encounter with Issei told the same story. He's smarter. He's faster. He's evolving. In the underworld markets, his bounty doubled. In Vatican networks, his file was reclassified. Subject no longer human, potential anomaly. And among devils, whispers turned to fascination. In the Gremory household, Ria sat before her chessboard, watching the news feed flicker. Kiba frowned beside her. The church's weapon is on the run. They called him the Baba Yaga. But now even they fear him. Aquino smiled, lightning flickering across her fingers. Fear, she said softly, is the beginning of respect. The church ruins. Later that night, Issei returned to the ruins of the old chapel. the same one where he was trained to pray, fight, and kill in heaven's name. The altar was cracked, the cross above him broken. He set salvation and judgment, his twin pistols on the altar kneeling before them. "You trained me to be your weapon," he whispered to the silence. "Now you'll see what happens when the weapon stops taking orders." He reloaded both guns. The sound echoed through the empty church like a benediction. As the candlelight flickered, his shadow stretched behind him, longer, darker, almost inhuman. His crimson eyes reflected in the shattered stained glass. He smirked, not out of arrogance, but out of grim acceptance. "They want the Baba Yaga." Click. "Then they'll get him." He stepped out into the night, rain pouring over his shoulders, his coat fluttering behind him like black wings. Above him, thunder rolled, the church's storm descending upon Kuo. But this time, the storm had met something far worse. The hunter on the run. The broken candles still flickered inside the old church. Smoke drifted through shattered glass, and rain hissed as it fell through the open roof. Issei Hayudu stood there for one last second, the scent of gunpowder, blood, and prayer thick in the air. He whispered to the silence, "You wanted the Baba Yaga? Now you'll get him." Then he turned, holstering his pistols and stepping out into the storm. The excommunicado hour begins. The rain soaked Kuo City, washing away the traces of battle, but not the consequences. Within the hour, encrypted church frequencies came alive with a single word flashing across every holy terminal. Excommunicado. Effective immediately. Issei Hayudu. All alliances terminated. All sanctuaries revoked. Reward. One sacred relic for confirmed kill. That decree spread like wildfire, through exorcists, mercenaries, fallen angels, and even devils. The church had unleashed a global hunt. And somewhere in the dark, the hunter they had created was already moving. The Mustang. The old '69 black Mustang roared through the outskirts of Kuo, the same car Issei had been gifted by the church years ago, back when he still took missions for them. Now it was his last sanctuary, a steel beast with a history of blood. The engine's growl echoed down the slick roads as Issei drove with cold focus. His coat hung heavy with rainwater, eyes steady on the empty highway ahead. The city lights blurred behind him, distant and fading. A world that had turned its back on him. Inside the glove compartment were the tools of his trade. Spare magazines, angelic wards, encrypted maps, and a black rosary tied around a silver coin, the symbol of his former allegiance. He pulled the rosary out, stared at it for a moment, and tossed it into the passenger seat. "Guess it's just you and me now," he muttered to the car, almost like talking to an old friend. 2:47 a.m., abandoned gas station, Kuo outskirts. The Mustang rolled up to a quiet, rain-slick station. Issei stepped out, refueling the tank with slow precision. Every drop that splashed against the pavement reflected the glow of neon light, and the reflection of a man who no longer belonged to anyone. Inside, the payphone still worked. He dialed a number burned into memory, one that wasn't supposed to exist anymore. After 3 rings, a voice answered, weary and cautious. "You shouldn't be calling this number, Hayudu." "Relax, Father Gabriel. I'm not asking for confession. You're excommunicado, Issei. You're a dead man walking. Wouldn't be the first time." There was silence on the other end, the kind born of fear and regret. Then Gabriel whispered, "They've activated the Inquisition Division. Angel-class hunters. You won't survive them." "You underestimate me," Issei replied calmly. "No," Gabriel said. "I remember you. That's why I'm warning you." The priest gave one last clue. A contact in Kyoto named Father Mikhail, a defector who once trained the Inquisitors themselves. Before Issei could thank him, the line went dead. He hung up, stared out the window, and froze. The reflection in the glass showed movement behind him. The first wave. 2 sedans stopped at the edge of the station, their headlights cutting through the rain. Out stepped a squad of church purifiers, elite agents dressed in dark robes stitched with golden scripture. Their eyes glowed faintly, filled with divine conviction. "Issei Hayudu, One called, voice sharp over the storm. By decree of the Holy See you are to surrender. You are excommunicado. No sanctuary will protect you. Issei stared at them for a long moment, unblinking. Then he slowly holstered his gun, stepped toward his car, and said quietly, "You had your chance." The sound of a safety click broke the silence. Then the world erupted. Gunfire split the rain. Sparks flew off the Mustang's hood as bullets ricocheted. Issei ducked low, rolling behind a concrete pillar, drawing salvation and judgment. His movements were sharp, mechanical, but graceful, a blend of divine precision and human instinct. One shot, the nearest purifier fell. Two more. Another's holy rifle jammed before a bullet found his throat. The last tried to retreat, radioing for backup, but Issei was faster, 3 bullets, each hitting like punctuation. The gas station lit up in flames behind him as he walked toward his car, unbothered by the chaos. Guess that answers who's faster. The war room. Back in the Vatican, Father Matthias stood in front of a glowing monitor. Issei's fight was being streamed through satellite footage. Every bishop in the room watched in silence as their former weapon dismantled their elite unit. "He's adapting," one whispered. "He's predicting their moves," another added. "He's thinking like a ghost we should have never made," Matthias interrupted. The old priest leaned forward, eyes cold. "Double the bounty. Spread it beyond the church. I want devils, fallen, and hunters all after him." The escape. By dawn, Issei's Mustang cut through the misty backroads, heading north. He had taken a hit. His shoulder grazed, a bruise forming beneath his ribs, but his focus never broke. On the passenger seat lay a photo, his old church team, the only people who ever treated him like family. All gone now. He slid the photo back into his jacket pocket and looked up through the cracked windshield. "You trained me to kill monsters. You just forgot to tell me what happens when your monster wakes up." He shifted gears, tires hissing against the wet asphalt. Rain blurred the edges of Kuo City in his rearview mirror, a city now crawling with hunters and contracts. Every faction wanted him. Every assassin had his name on their lips. And through it all, the Baba Yaga was smiling. Final scene, the message. Hours later, messages flashed across the hidden networks of heaven, hell, and earth alike. Target: Issei Hayudu. Status: excommunicado. Reward: triple. Sacred relic plus favor of the Holy Council. Caution: high risk. Do not engage alone. Somewhere in a rain-soaked motel, Issei sat beside his Mustang, cleaning his guns one by one. Lightning flashed. His reflection in the mirror looked older, colder, more focused. "They made me their weapon," he said softly. "Now I'll show them what happens when the weapon fights back." He loaded his pistols, chambered 2 rounds, and stood up. The storm outside was getting louder. The hunt had officially begun. If they want the Baba Yaga, click, they'll get him. The engine roared, and the black Mustang vanished into the rain.